Welcome into A to Z Sports Primetime on a Tuesday night. Lovely to have you guys in. Thanks for joining us, as is the custom, about 8 p.m. Central Time. Schedule release. We'll know a good portion of the Titans' opponents by tomorrow, and we will have further information about the entirety of the Titans' schedule by Thursday evening. I believe 7 o'clock is the official schedule release show. It's a 3-hour special edition broadcast on the NFL Network. But since we'll start to find out games tomorrow, particularly the Titans' international opponent, I figured it was a good opportunity to do a schedule release show tonight. So we're going to take a look at what we think is going to happen. Of course, primetime games are always something that you guys are interested in, and I'll tell you how I feel about the situation, given the new scheduling rules. We will also talk about which game on the schedule, because we at least know the home and away opponents, which game you're most excited about for Tennessee in 2023. We'll do a Gone Viral video, because that's what we do at the end of the Tuesday night show. A lot of stuff to get to, and excited to have you guys back in for another episode. Before we get started, need you guys to share this show around on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. If you're on Twitter, please retweet the show. It's in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you are on Facebook Live, let's see, who's on Facebook Live? Adam Berkowitz, who says, hi, Mom. Hopefully, Adam's mom is there for him to say hi to. Or Brian Johnson. You can share Not a Public in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, who we got? We got Shy064 and Eric Alonzo. You can like the video. You can subscribe to the channel. If you've done both of those things, tell a friend to do the same. We would be grateful for you that way. We're going to have a great show tonight, and I'm looking forward to getting into it with you, because the schedule release is always fun, and mostly because I'm looking forward to figuring out what week I can spend in Europe after the Titans play in London. That is what I'm most excited about. Spoiler alert. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Superbook Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising, if you're new, and I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by Superbook Sports. Download the Superbook app today, and they will match your first bet up to $1,000, win or lose. No place has better odds boosts and promo bets than Superbook Sports. TrueMath Fitness in the Gulch, your first workout as free as a Middle Tennessee resident when you go to TrueMathFitness.com. Go check out all of their great group fitness classes or personal training options at TrueMathFitness.com. And the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. The Intel Edge is what you need to succeed. Go to GaryAshton.com for the best information in the business. Gary Ashton, the team that your favorite teams trust. So there are some new guidelines for the schedule release, right? We know the Titans' home and away opponents. But we do know that the situation for the Titans is interesting, because one of their home games will be a London game this year. Now, like I said, we will find out the entirety of the schedule by the time the Titans, by the time we get to Thursday night's primetime show. In fact, I think it's like an hour before primetime goes down. But I do, as I look at this schedule for the Titans, as I look at the home and away opponents, it is going to be a very, very curious situation. You know the AFC South, right? Houston Texans, Colts, and Jags. You'll play them home and away. The home games specifically, Falcons, Panthers, Ravens, Bengals, Chargers, and Seahawks. One of those games will be a Titans home game, but it will be in London. So it is either I don't know if do they play divisional games overseas? I actually don't know the answer to that question. I would think that had to have happened at some point, but I don't know the answer to that necessarily. I feel like I don't remember divisional games being played overseas that often, which would make sense, because I imagine that opponents would be or teams that would have to give up a home game in that circumstance would not want to in divisional games. If anybody has an answer to that question, I would be curious. Bert is typing something in the chat for me, so perhaps he's found out something that he can add to the conversation. But I am interested in which of the opponents. Jonathan Hernandez says you're supposed to know these things. Well, turns out I don't know everything. What are you going to do? I know a lot of things. I don't know everything. Even I I like to act like I know everything, but every once in a while something slips my mind. So perhaps Bert will be able to provide us some context here in just a second. Bert says Texans and Jags played in 2019. So there is precedent, particularly with the Jaguars playing international divisional games, but also the Jags might be an anomaly there. So I don't know that they will. I mean, I guess it's not an anomaly, right? Because we're talking about for the if we're talking about for the Titans, then the Jags as a divisional opponent might actually take place overseas. So that's possible. Panthers also played the Bucks in 2019. Okay, so it hasn't happened since 2019, but it has happened before. I think the JD Richardson says they leaked the other London games too. Yeah, I don't pay attention to schedule leaks. I don't, I don't, to be completely transparent with you, I don't give a shit enough to care if to have the games early. Like, it would be nice because obviously I want to plan out my fall. I've got people who have weddings and stuff like that. Some I want to go to, some I want to use work to get out of. To be able to plan my bye-week vacation would be nice, especially since it's going to be an international after an international game. So I might stay in Europe for the bye. We'll see. But beyond that, I don't really care about the schedule release stuff because every year some Twitter account comes out and says, hey, look, we've got this game on this date and here's the Christmas Day slate and all these things. And then it turns out on the day that the schedule release comes out, that Twitter account says, mother bleep you all, I was just trolling you because I'm just making up games. So I don't really care about the stuff you see on Reddit or all that other stuff. I'd rather I get the schedule a little bit earlier than you do because the team physically emails us all, people who are day-to-day beat guys and gals. They send it to us. I think we get it like an hour before the actual schedule comes out, and then basically the NFL embargoes it with local media people. So we have the schedule about an hour before you do, maybe a little less than an hour before you do, but we can't say anything until the actual, until 7 p.m. I think Central Time or Eastern Time when the NFL allows those things to be released. So Titan Fox says, don't plan your fall, Buck. Keep standing. No, I would very much like to plan my fall. I have to plan my fall around your football team on a regular basis, and that's fine. Colby Ryan Cooper says the NFL is rigged. I don't think so, but if it's rigged, can I have more compelling rigged games? If they were rigging the NFL, you would think they would do a lot better with it because there's a lot of shitty football out there. That's basically the best argument for the NFL not being rigged. There's too many bad football games out there for this to be something that they'd be actively screwing with. But let's talk about the schedule release within this context. It's your Two Rivers Ford take on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. How many primetime games do you think the Titans get this year? It's always a hot button issue with you guys, and I think that I would be curious to know how you feel about it. I feel a certain type of way, but of course our opinions are always different because we come at these things from different perspectives. So it's your Two Rivers Ford take. How many primetime games? And remember that the London game is included in a primetime game, or as a primetime game because it is technically nationally televised. How many games do you think the Titans end up with? Let's talk about it together on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Right after I remind you that our friends from Two Rivers Ford make the Two Rivers Ford take possible. Go to Two Rivers Ford for the best quality American-made Ford vehicles and award-winning customer service. Nobody makes the car buying process faster, more easy, or more fun than Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. So as you look at the situation for the Titans, there's a couple of things to consider. One, now this was something that somebody who submitted a question to the A to Z Sports Instagram story today pointed out that there's never been a requirement for NFL teams to play primetime games. There have been teams who have missed primetime opportunities before. Now, NFL teams are required to play Thursday night football games. So Thursday night football, in fact, actually, let me double check this. I'm going to look up the Detroit Lions schedule from 2022 because somebody told me that the Detroit Lions did not play a Thursday night football game, and that surprised me because I thought every team had to play a TNF game. I do think, I know the Titans did play two. So as I look through this, Saturday, okay, those are preseason, Sunday. Sorry, this is not great streaming content, but I'm looking for, oh, they played the Buffalo Bills on Thursday Night Football. So yeah, every NFL team is required to play a primetime game. Thursday, whether it's that's right. It was the Thanksgiving game. Thank you for pointing that out, Philip. The Lions always have the Thanksgiving Day game. Thank you for reminding me. But I do think that every NFL team has previously been required to play on Thursday Night Football. Now, that's no longer the case. Teams can play as many as 2 Thursday Night Football games, but there is no longer a requirement to put every team on national television that way. I call, let's see, how many primetime games are the Titans going to have? B-Birds 18 says 3 on Twitch. Steven on Twitch says 3. Alonzo says 3. 2 for Anthony Malley. Again, I'm assuming that number includes for all of you the London game. 0 for Nathan Shiver. Brian Johnson also says 0. Well, it's going to be at least 1 because London is a primetime game, even though it's super early in the morning. It's a nationally televised game. Maserati Mag says we're getting 4 primetime games. The only guarantee I can make is that you're not getting 4 primetime games. That's not going to happen in a world where the networks can choose this. Now, here's the thing, right? Because the rules on this have changed. They are going to allow networks to move things around. Not every team is guaranteed to play on primetime. The networks are no longer going to be married to specific conferences, right? For forever, it's been CBS has had the AFC and Fox has had the NFC. That's no longer the case. You can now flex things like Monday Night Football games, which networks have asked for. And they wanted to be able to flex Thursday Night Football games, but the owners, particularly the ownership of the New York Giants, came out and said, no, we're not going to do that to season ticket holders. So it is a much more wild, wild west situation, which guarantees a lot less nationally televised opportunities for franchises who don't necessarily rate as well as the big names, right? The Cowboys, the Giants, basically every NFC East franchise, even though the Commanders have been terrible, they still get big numbers because they're a national fan base. The Packers will probably still have games, even though Aaron Rodgers will be gone, even for just the intrigue of Jordan Love, and that's also a national fan base. We talked about this on the radio show today, teams who were kind of in the same boat as the Titans, where they may get banged on this. Tennessee is one that immediately comes to mind. We brought up Atlanta and Tampa Bay without Tom Brady as teams that come to mind. There's not that many, and obviously teams will have the ability to get at least one primetime game in the situation like the Titans have because there's a London game on this. But David Brown says primetime definition is 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. All right, well, let me rephrase, David, because you are correct. It's literally the name of the show, right? It is Sports Primetime because we come on at 8. So primetime, let me rephrase. How many nationally televised games will the Titans have this year? That is the better way to say it. Our primetime game will be wearing our throwbacks. I bet that's going to be a Texans game. Now, maybe they put the Texans as a nationally televised game because I think the Texans and the Colts with their rookie quarterbacks are going to be the thing that entices networks to, pick up a Colts game where they might not have in years past with the Colts trotting out Phillip Rivers or Matt Ryan. I think that the potential for the well, let me tell you what I think about the nationally televised games here in just a second, right after I remind you that the Primetime Show is presented by Superbook Sports. Go to superbook.com for terms and conditions and the best odds boosts and promo bets out there. Nobody gets you in on the action and lets you enjoy the action more than Superbook Sports. Superbook is the place for you to go to make sure that you're betting on the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, and so much else. You can bring that big bet energy this summer with Superbook Sports. They're the most trusted name in sports betting. And right now, you can use promo code A to Z Sports to score, A2Z, that's ATOZ, to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they'll match your first bet up to $250 with promo code ATOZ. Simply visit superbook.com for terms and conditions or download the Superbook app in the App Store. Enter the promo code ATOZ and you'll get $250 courtesy of Superbook Sports. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789. So, as you look at the Titans' schedule, how many primetime games will they have? How many nationally? I'm sorry, I keep saying primetime. How many nationally televised games will they have? Titan Fox said 3 would be sweet. Not my guess, but I'd love it. So I will say, I bet London is the only game that's nationally televised. Now, that on the initial schedule release. What that doesn't mean is that they might get flexed into like a Saturday nationally televised ESPN game, right? Like they did with the Jags at the end of the season. That was something that worked out for them in ways, it worked out for them in terms of being nationally televised, whether you like that or not. Philip Falgout says 4, including the Super Bowl. Well, so you mean they would, because they would, what? So let's just say they're a wild card divisional championship game and Super Bowl. So the only national television games that they would have would be in the playoffs. That'd be funny. William Joe says Buck knows something. No, honestly, I really don't. I don't know much about the schedule. I'm playing the percentages here. TV networks don't like the Titans. TV networks don't like things that don't rate well. And Derrick Henry being the biggest must-watch attraction, NFL fans are going to know who Jeffrey Simmons is. They're going to know, they're going to be interested in things like Treylon Burks or Will Levis is another draw. But like people who are already going to watch football, they know who's on the Titans roster. And if they want to watch a Titans game, they'll be watching a Titans game for football. Television network executives who are going to decide and who are going to be choosing these games may not know who the hell Jeffrey Simmons is, or may not give a shit about Treylon Burks because he only played in 11 games last year and had like 400 receiving yards. I think that the London game is probably going to be the only nationally televised game on the initial schedule. TV networks don't like the Titans as much as Rand Carthon doesn't like wide receivers, says Richie Guzman. Well, I'm sure Rand is going to like wide receivers at some point, but we'll see how much more he likes them after he plays the season with these wide receivers that he looks like he's heading into. We got rid of all our superstars. That's why. No, I mean, Derek's still here. So Derek, I mean, really, who did you get rid of? Lawan? Like Lawan is not bringing people to nationally televised games. It's not like that. The left tackle, who are the, I mean, AJ is one, and AJ is, AJ matters that way, but you're 2 years removed from that. It's not something you can cling to. If they hate the Titans so much, how come they had 5 last season, including the only team that had 2 TNF games? Well, one, networks aren't, Amazon isn't a network, right? Amazon doesn't have to traffic in television ratings the way that CBS, or I guess in this case, NBC and ESPN would. So putting 2 Titans TNF games gets rid of them for the television network, saddles Amazon with them in ways that Amazon doesn't have to be accountable to things like ratings the way that the television networks do. Now, I will say that the Saturday game is something that the Titans forced their hand on, right? Now, the Titans weren't the reason that game was nationally televised last year. The Jags were, because the Jags had won, what was it? Jags end up winning like 8 or something ridiculous in a row after starting the year 2-6, to force that win and in situation to take the division away from Tennessee. So that was the Jags putting the Titans on national television in that situation. It's more about Jacksonville than it was about Tennessee. The other 2 games, it was what, week 1? Were they the Monday Night Football doubleheader? No, they played the 9/11 game, right? They had the Giants. So the Giants was an afternoon slate, not nationally televised, more eyeballs on it though. If you're somebody who cares about this, like all these, I don't necessarily care about the primetime games. Like I don't care, or the nationally televised games. I don't care when they play. I just want to know for my purposes when I can go about scheduling. Mr. Jones says the Packers, that was a Thursday night game. I'm missing one in there, right? Is there? So let's see. They had, who was their Monday night game? I know they played a Monday night game, and I'm blanking on their opponent. I'm going to have to pull up their schedule really quick because I could probably walk you through each of those. For example, forgive me, Googling these things are not good streaming broadcast content, but I will get you there one way or the other. Okay, looking at the Titans' schedule from last season. Where were the primetime games? Oh, Monday Night Football, the Buffalo blowout, right? Now, early in the season is a great time to put the Titans on primetime, right? Bert brought this up earlier on the radio show, where they're healthy. They're as good as they're going to be. Typically, at the start of the season, more of their stars will be available. So, yeah, put them out there against the Bills. Those have been traditionally competitive games. The Titans had been the better of the two franchises in that series, and then they got dog walked in Buffalo on Monday night. I feel bad for the Bills if they get us early, says Lone Star Titan. Well, I feel like they felt pretty good about that last year, but we will see. But we will see what comes out. I really think it's just going to be the London game on the initial one, but maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised. Maybe I'm discounting them. I just think in a world where you allow the television networks to choose these things, how many network executives are going to actively choose the Tennessee Titans? I don't see a world where that exists. In fact, I had one person who works for a television network nationally covering the NFL tell me, I love you. It's always good to see you. I hope I don't see you once during this season. Because they were so disinterested in covering the Titans for a national outlet. But that's the Titans have forced people to cover them before. We'll see what happens. Okay, we'll see what the schedule. We'll start to know the international games tomorrow, at least, and that will be interesting. 0 primetime games because y'all drink mayonnaise with your coffee, says Alex M. No, honestly, I think that the Titans, if they started Will Levis in a game, I think that Will Levis would give them a better percentage chance of being put on national television because young quarterbacks that people haven't seen before, it's a selling point. Why do people just assume the Titans will be injured again? Law of averages say they will not. Yeah, but that's what people said last year, and they almost matched 91 players. They were literally the most injured team in football last year. JD Richardson says Buck is not 6'3". I saw him in Seattle a couple of years ago. I've never claimed to be 6'3". I'm 6'2". 6'2", 196.8 as of this morning. Yeah, no, I just went to the doctor. I got my measurements done. So 6'2". I can't remember the exact inches. But yeah, 6'3" in heels. If I wear my cowboy boots, I'm 6'3". Better chance at a number one pick, says Ken Caniff, than primetime games. Well, we'll see what happens. Let's talk about the game that you're most excited, the opponent that you're most excited about to see the Titans play in 2023, home or away, divisional or non-conference. We'll talk about it together on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, and we will discuss here in just a moment. I do want to show you this video, though, of what NFL teams are looking for in the schedule that I think is worth you paying attention to. This was courtesy of the Pat McAfee Show.
On the same kind of note as the schedule coming out, what do teams think about the difficulty of schedule? Because right now, they're ranking every single team and where they fall. I think the Patriots are, here's the list. The Patriots are towards the top. I know the Steelers are towards the bottom.
Hell yeah.
Do teams actually take this into any account, or is this just something where, us as fans are just looking at it from the outside, trying to figure out if we have the third hardest schedule, maybe we'll end up, 9-8. Is that real for these teams or no?
The strength of the schedule is real, but it's also dictated by how you finished the year before. Now there's some luck involved in that too, because the Chiefs, I think, are 16th in strength of schedule just because of the division that they happen to be playing against, what happened to a couple teams in their division last year. So you can argue that maybe that's actually going to end up stronger. What teams look for on the day that the schedule comes out, and there's always some grumbling about it, it's going to be who are they playing in week one? When do they have back-to-back or back-to-back-to-back type of road trips? And then how many uneven types of weeks do they have? Like how many times do they play a Monday and then a Sunday? How many times do they play a Sunday followed by a Thursday?
Ooh.
And every year there's a couple of teams that don't have consecutive home games until December. And the bye is the other thing. Some teams last year, there were a couple teams that had a week 14 bye, which no one had ever had before. For some teams, like for the Packers, it probably came at a really good time for them at a time that they were playing better football. They just needed to get healthy. And then there's other teams who I think the Colts also had the week 14 bye.
Yep.
And at that point, they're just limping toward the end. And probably the last thing anybody wants to do is go away for a week and then have to come back to it for a month. But those are the teams really analyze here, and that all their operations people and their logistics people are trying to figure out In terms of those long road trips, especially for the West Coast teams going east or vice versa. How do you do those? Are you staying in the city for a while? Those are the things that are really impactful once the actual schedule comes out.
So that's Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network breaking down what teams look for on the schedule. So let's talk about the opponent that you're most excited to see in 2023. We will get into it together right after I remind you that the Primetime Show is made possible by TrueMav Fitness. Go to TrueMavFitness.com for your first workout free. Tomorrow is a full body workout with a focus on your lower half. Don't skip leg days, kids. And if you're doing leg days, do them better in a way that is exciting, refreshing, never recycled or repeated. Do it at TrueMav Fitness in the Gulch. Their workouts are incredibly fun. They're efficient with your time. I love being able to get in and get out all in a span of 40 minutes with a coaching staff that I know is going to put me in the best position to succeed. They helped me drop 52 pounds at TrueMav Fitness in the year that I've been working with them. They are the best workout in Nashville. I guarantee it. Go to TrueMavFitness.com to sign up for your first workout free or to check out any number of their membership options. So, looking at the schedule, we don't know who exactly the Titans or when exactly the Titans are going to play these teams, but we know that they will play certain teams at home and certain teams away. So of these teams, right, home opponents, Ravens, Bengals, Texans, Chargers, Seahawks, Colts, Panthers, Jags, Falcons. Away opponents, Tampa Bay, Miami, Houston. You have, of course, the Saints, the Steelers, the Browns, and the Colts and the Jags in the AFC South. So of those games, home or away, not knowing which of them is going to be in London, because one will be in London, which matchup excites you the most? Dwayne Holiday says he's looking forward to the Saints. Derek Carr in that offense, that will be interesting to see. I'd be curious to know when they play the Saints. You'd rather play a team like that early in the year as opposed to later on when they've had time to develop chemistry. Let's see. Bengals, they need to win that game this year because Texans, because that's the only game I get to see the Titans play on TV. Oh, okay, that's interesting. You must live out of market at that point. Who else are you guys excited to watch? Chargers, Jonathan Ertl. They did not beat the Chargers last year, but they played them close without their quarterback for a good portion of that game. And that was a game that, in fact, that was the last game that Ryan Tannehill played of the season, the Chargers, in mid-December. B-Birds agrees, Chargers, because my husband likes them, and it's always a fun competition between us. The Chargers and Titans do play fun games, typically. Miami, says J.D. Richardson. I have apprehension about Miami, to be honest with you, because the last time we made the trip to Miami, it was Mike Vrabel's first year. It's Mike Vrabel's first game, and it resulted in the longest game in the history of the NFL since the merger. There were 2 separate 2-hour lightning delays. Delaney Walker snapped his ankle. Taylor Lewan got body bagged. Marcus Mariota got nerve damage in his elbow. It was the longest professional workday of my life. It felt like their entire season was over in that first game, and it was the first game of Mike Vrabel's career. I just remember talking to them afterwards and them being completely discombobulated by everything that went down. That was a shit show of a game, absolutely. So Miami gives me PTSD, but I don't think it can be worse, knock on wood, than that initial Miami game was that, what was it now, 5 years ago at this point. It was literally 8 hours worth of football with a monsoon, 2 different monsoon delays in between. Wild. I'll cop out and say the London game is the one that I'm most excited for, just because I love making that trip. I've been to London a ton of times. The last time was in 2018 for the Titans, because I did not go through London this most recent international trip that I took to go see my family in Egypt. I went through Frankfurt, Germany, as a matter of fact, this time around. But I do love London. I love the city. I love the history. I love the art. I love the culture. I know they're not well regarded for their food, but I think their food gets a bad rap. I just love the atmosphere in a place like that, and it's such a cool opportunity to get to do for work. And in addition to that, to play at they played at Wembley in 18. They'll play at Tottenham Hotspur this time around, and I'm fascinated to see what comes of that. But ultimately, whomever the Titans London opponent is the opponent that I'm most excited to watch, because I'm looking forward to London, and then afterwards I think I might stay a week in Europe. I might take that week off on the bye week and just hang out in Europe for a little bit. I've got family in Spain, so that might be nice. I went to Spain last year, as a matter of fact, in 2018 after the London game the last time around. It was a great time. So looking forward to that. And I know a lot of you guys enjoy making that trip. That's going to be good. Boy says, do I know how to speak Arabic? It's honestly, it upsets my family so much. I can't speak it. I can understand it. Like, I know words, I know phrases. I know when somebody's trying to say something or trying to communicate with me. Like, I can get around in a cab, for example. But yeah, I never, my dad. So for those of you who don't know my background, my dad was Egyptian. My mom is from the States, and my dad was supposed to speak exclusively Arabic to me, and my mom was supposed to speak exclusively English to me. And that my dad felt bad because I couldn't understand what he was saying to me in Arabic, so he caved and he started speaking English. And ultimately, I never learned Arabic. It's not my dad's fault. I tried to take it in college. I got a D. It was really, really hard. My freshman GPA was not great anyway, because when I got to Indiana, I was just a complete and total jerk in terms of going on in terms of, like, going out and being a reckless college student the way that I shouldn't have been. So to have a D on my transcript and bringing down my GPA in Arabic was not something that I stuck with. So but I did try, and I did not do very well with it at that point. I really wish that I would have learned it. And I even tried learning how to write it. And I got writing better, ironically enough, because they write in the opposite direction as we do in the United States. Arabic is, if English is written, oh my God, I have to think about how English is written. If English is written left to right, Arabic is written right to left. Yeah, it was something that I was very disappointed in myself about, because I really wanted to do that to impress my family. And then I saw my GPA afterwards. I was like, yeah, probably not going to be able to do that. So not going to, well, maybe I might go to Egypt for the bye week. Who's to say? We'll find out. Anyway, let's do Gone Viral Video. And we will talk about the best thing that we saw on the internet this week. Let me know on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. It's Titans related, ironically enough, this week. Titans and Jags related. We'll get to that here in just a second, right after I remind you that the Primetime Show is presented by our friends at the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. GaryAshton.com will get you your dream address without the stress. They'll get you the intel edge you need to succeed with the best real estate intel out there. Gary Ashton and his team are the team that your favorite teams trust. That's why they're the official real estate agent of the Preds and of me. Gary Ashton, for all your intel needs at GaryAshton.com. Okay, so looking at the situation for the Titans and their fan base, right? A lot of you guys brought up the idea that the Titans miss an opportunity to grow their fan base the less they play on national television. And that's accurate. But it also doesn't help when allegedly one of the people who is supposed to be representing the state and its local sports teams, although whether or not you want this person as a representative of the state of Tennessee, I think is a matter of, some debate. But Morgan Wallen, recently playing a concert in Jacksonville, in Duval County, as a matter of fact, was on stage and he was playing to the crowd, and he said something about the Titans and the Jags that has a lot of Titans fans irked today. Oh, I wasn't ready to hit the video. There's the video. So Morgan Wallen's getting pissed off about the Tennessee Titans, and he said that he might just become a Jaguars fan. Now, I think I think that it's ironic to me because a lot of you guys got pissed at Morgan Wallen about that, and I thought that was funny because a lot of you guys are pissed at the Tennessee Titans for what they did in the draft. Morgan Wallen is talking like one of you guys, and apparently you don't like Morgan Wallen talking like one of you guys. I thought that was hilarious to me. Now, he's also just had to cancel, I think, like 6 weeks worth of shows because he's taking some kind of vocal cord rest or something like that. And, the allegations of what might actually cause him to miss time on the road versus what he is saying is causing him to miss time on the road. I don't have any evidence one way or the other to, say that Morgan Wallen hasn't been taking care of himself in a way that would allow him to continue his shows that he had scheduled. And somebody adds, isn't he racist? Yes, he very famously has an incident where he was on camera saying the N-word. He has a racist moment in his past that would lead you to think that there has been a pattern of behavior that would make him feel comfortable saying those things. There was a lot of controversy around that at the time. In fact, it helped his album sales, which is something that I could not for the life of me understand. But, I truly did not know what to make of that because he was not performing for a very long time because of that very, very publicly bad moment. And then all of a sudden he does the Broadway Girls song with who's the rapper on that track? I think it's Lil Durk. All of a sudden he does Broadway Girls with Lil Durk, and people forget about that moment. Now, I struggle with stuff like this, right? Because I don't think one moment in any person's life defines you, but I also am not here to excuse in any sense of the imagination racist behavior, especially with that particular word. But I do, I do hate the implication of allowing one really, really, really bad moment define an entire person's life and character. I've never liked that, ultimatum style with things, but I just did not understand why the immediate, it's not even Morgan Wallen's doing, right? Like Morgan Wallen didn't ask people to spike his album sales after he was in a very, very publicly racist moment. That was people who did that, as a sign of support for him or a sign of support for something that I was really surprised by. But, it's just a good reminder that element is still out there. And, I know some of you, certainly the Black members of our audience don't have to be reminded that element of society exists. And that is deeply unfortunate. More than deeply unfortunate. It's disgusting, but that is what it is. All right. That's going to do it for us tonight. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. It was a very serious landing to the end of the show. But I appreciate you guys bearing with us as always. Thanks for spending time with us on the Primetime Show. Radio show is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. We'll continue our prospect preview ahead of rookie minicamp. Tajay Spears will be the subject of that. We'll do that with Titans radio executive producer Rhett Bryan, and that'll be a lot of fun. So make sure you're hanging out with us on 104.5 The Zone from 10 to 1. We had about 15 of you guys buy tickets to the Install live show yesterday. We are approaching our goal of 100 tickets. We have 11 days to reach that goal. We're excited to have as many of you as have already bought tickets. We're halfway there at this point, and I know that we are going to be able to easily exceed our goal based on the feedback that I've seen. We've got very exciting guests that are planned. Guys, people that we've invited just to hang out and enjoy the show that you guys are going to really enjoy, that I think I'll be able to tell you more about by the time we get to the week of the show, because I've invited some, I don't want to call them VIPs is not the right word, but people that you guys would enjoy having as a part of the show in the audience as well. And they are all Titans related. But Greg Cosell of NFL Films is flying down. We're going to break down the entire Titans 2023 draft class at the Hutton Hotel in downtown Nashville. Saturday, May the 20th. Your tickets are available at 1045thezone.com. It's only $25 to come hang out. It's going to be a great night with a lot of fun. They have a bar. They have a buffet. Those tickets are available if you want drink tickets included with your admission purchase, or if you just want to come hang out and enjoy the show. 1045thezone.com has those general admission tickets for you. Looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys out on May the 20th. Xavier says he'll be there. What time is the show? It says Jen, the doors will open at 6. The show will start at 7. At this point, we'll have an hour for people to, come in, get their drinks, get their food if they want to. I know that there is a meet and greet with Greg and I for people who have bought a certain level of ticket, which we're very grateful that people have bought as many of those tickets as they have. Thank you for doing so. But if you just want GA, the show will start at 7. And you can get drinks as you like at the bar, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Jen says you tried to go to the Zone website and buy tickets, but couldn't find it. Bert, would you do me a favor and drop the Eventbrite link in the StreamYard chat, if you would? That would be helpful for people, because I got mine, or I've sent people to 1045thezone.com. I know that they've been able to buy some there. I know that, honestly, some of the feedback that we got yesterday was that there was a fair amount of traffic, and so the link wasn't working because people were buying tickets at a decent rate yesterday. So Bert will drop the link for the live show event in the and it's not the Zone TV chat. I'm doing a different show. It's the in the chat for each of you here on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch for you to get the direct link to the Eventbrite situation. When does Bert get to go home, says Kid Sensation? Well, he's at home right now. We do, I'm at home right now. Bert gets to do this show remotely. I get to do this show from my office, which is always very, very nice. So anyway, the links are available for all of you in your respective live streaming chats. We can't wait to see you guys there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to have the guest announcements. I think I'll probably have them by Friday's show. And I have a new, so a lot of you guys brought up the idea of me doing the milk crate challenge as a means to sell, 20 tickets in a day or something like that. I have come up with a better idea. That I think, one, that the radio station is going to be more comfortable with, ironically enough, because the radio station came in and told me today, yeah, we can't have you doing the milk crate challenge. I said, okay. I don't necessarily want to break my leg, but I will say that it involves me skydiving, this particular opportunity that has been presented to me. Bert is looking at me very with great trepidation in the screen that I can see only Bert and nobody else can see Bert. But yes, the skydiving proposal has been sent to me, as a matter of fact, by the Army Golden Knights. And I think that if you guys want to see me jump out of a plane, I think there might be a ticket selling opportunity in the middle of all this. I think this is going to be interesting. I may just make Lucas and Bert do it with me, depending on how many tickets we want to sell. Because the venue's 250 people, right? So if we wanted to, blow it out and have a huge party instead of 100, we could go for 250. B friend says it says 25 to 75. The $75 tickets are for if you want your food and drink included. Those are the quote unquote VIP tickets. I believe that also gives you access to the meet and greet with Greg and I before. So yes, we will tell you more information about the skydiving opportunity that we will be doing. I'm for sure doing it. But I don't know if I can commit Bert and Lucas to doing it with me. So we will tell you more about that on the radio show tomorrow when I am able to provide you with more details. In the meantime, you can come hang out at the live show, 1045thezone.com, or the Eventbrite link that Bert has so kindly dropped in the chat for you guys. Have a great rest of your night, and I will see you tomorrow on the radio show when we get started at 10. Damn it, I'm slow on the videos today. See you.
Are you surprised to hear that?
Certainly not. The first year we took it to the limit. And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
It's been 20 years since then. We haven't been too strong in the last few years.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules. You can't have a newcomer come in and steal a show.